don't think that expressive art is difficult because you need to think a lot of things, but it can be really easy. And I'm going to show you step by step how to create an expressive art piece. As you know, for realism, we need skin tones, skin colors, such as pink, peach, beige, or, you know, cool and warm colors. But for this expressive portrait that we are doing today, we will need more different colors. You can choose any color you want and any color combination you want. This is where the creative part comes in. But if you're not sure about what to choose, what colors to choose, then you can definitely check out the color wheel and find all the complementary colors that you want to use. Or there's another method. You can just look at the picture itself and try to see similar shadows around the face. And for example, here you can make them blue. Or here, where the skin is lighter, you can use bright yellow or orange. If you're still not sure, you can use some applications or some website. For example, pinetools.com has a lot of effects that you can use, and I like the posterize effect. And if you choose your picture and then you posterize it with number of color selections, then you can get different variation of your portrait. This helped me a lot because it gave me an idea about where I can use what colors, but I didn't necessarily follow it, but you can. It is a great tool. Now that we know our colors, I think we can start painting, guys. This is going to be great. Just like in realist portraits, we need to create our colors in advance because in portraits, we need to move quick and create the layers quickly in wet and wet method before our paper dries. Another important factor is your brushes. You need different kind of brushes in different sections of your portrait. For example, the big brush is for the larger areas, the smaller brushes are for the smaller areas and details. And you saw that there's a comb one, and I'm going to show you where I'm going to use that brush in a second. We will work in layers, guys, because again, for portraits, it's important to go from lighter layer to the darkest layer. And my lighter color is right now is this light burgundy color, and for this I mix some black, some rose color, and some red. I really like this cherry color. We need to go crazy. Once you're used to realism, it feels difficult to use these crazy colors or bright colors in your portraits, but this is the fun part. Trust me, I really enjoyed playing with the colors here, and you should also do the same. Now I want to show you if you overwash your paint, what happens. As long as your paint is wet, you can always remove it. If it was about to dry, just wet it again with a clean water, put pressure with your tissue and pick it up. That's it. You will see that the paint is gone. If you're new here in this channel, you will learn that I'm very different than other artists. I share my mistakes all the time so that you can learn how to fix those mistakes. Don't forget that you need to dry each layer before you work on the other layer with different color, because otherwise those colors get mixed up and they can create these really weird muddy colors in the end. I'm getting some Avatar vibes in here, but at the same time, it's just kind of all over the place. So I know it doesn't look like anything yet, but trust me, guys, trust the process. It's going to be so beautiful in the end. I can say it easily because I know the end product anyway. Again, as I said, we are working our way from lighter to darker. And this is the darkest shadows right now. Again, with my burgundy color, I'm kind of creating more mixture there because I ran out of my mix. Well, I ran out of my mixture and I created a new one, but it just was not exactly the same. This shows why it is important to create a large amount of mixture in the very beginning, because you cannot guarantee that once you run out, the new mixture will exactly match the old one. We continue to go get crazy. Now it's time to add a little bit more warmer and like brighter colors. For that, I'm adding the lip with my thin brush. It's number 3 and it's round brush. I highly recommend you to give details with these kind of size brushes because it gives you more control. And when you do especially wet on dry method just like this with wet paint on dry paper, then definitely small brushes are your best friends. After I add this beautiful lip colors here, I'm gonna add the same color on the cheeks a little bit. And boom, look at that. I added this bright red right on the cheeks. It looks like a clown right now. You can feel like that if you're used to realism, but trust me, it is looking beautiful. Now this is my favorite yellow. It's kind of a mixture of lemon yellow and the bright yellow. You can see that this yellow changed everything. It's a game changer. It brightened up the whole portrait. It's adding so much energy to the face, and I'm so happy that I added this color right here. But you have to be careful about not to add it everywhere. It just needs to be consistent. Now let's do the burnishing. Have you ever heard burnishing in watercolor? So you can do burnishing with either clean water or you can do with the lightest skin tone on the portrait. I'm gonna do the second one. So I'm wetting the whole face, including the dry paint, with clean water. And I'm adding my lightest skin tone, this pink color. So I'm trying to bring all these different kind of colors together with this light pink color. It is interesting. It's kind of scary because you're really scared that you're gonna reactivate the paint underneath, but you don't work on that dry paint long enough to really activate it. But it's kind of halfway down activated, so it kind of blends well with that pink. I don't know how to explain these things, but trust me, it's going to work. And here I'm adding all these blue dots and kind of more bright green because I feel like her smile needs to pop out more. I just want to add more colors there and make it more creative. This is the whole purpose, right? We want to get creative. We want to get crazy. For the different shadows, I'm trying to add a little bit more red or less red or more burgundy or less burgundy. This is what I'm doing. When it comes to details, guys, we can be a little bit more, let's say, realistic, because at the end of the day, we want her to look like Frida. So the eyes and the nose and the lips will have the lines and the shapes in a little bit more detailed way. We are not going to go so crazy there. Another area that I fixed a mistake and I want to share with you. As you can see on the right, the pupil was a little larger than I thought. In order to erase this, I just applied some clean water and then I pressed my tissue there to get the excessive water. Then I erase it with my plastic eraser, but being careful not to tear the paper. Then I dried it. Then I let it dry, and afterwards I added the final detail that I want to keep in the eye section. After you add all the other details around the eye, it's going to look as if it has never happened. You can see that I added all these green dots and burgundy dots and just some blue around the eyebrows. And now you see me adding the white of the eye with white gouache. Why white gouache? Because it's opaque and it is beautiful. You can think of it as the white gel pen that we are using to give highlights in graphite and charcoal drawings. It is time to add more color to it. I'm using the comb brush here to give this pattern on the necklace. We are not drawing realistically, but I still want this necklace to look good, and I think the comb brush worked really well. I also used the comb brush in the hair, where the root of the hair was, because it made my job much easier to give that hair root look. Don't forget to apply it from bottom to top, so the bottom part will have more of a hair-like structure. Her clothing was black, and in order to do the black first, I tried using pure black. But honestly, when I do wet and wet method, I realized that that black was not strong enough. I had to do maybe 5 or 6 layers, and then it was going to be pitch black. And I didn't want to have pitch black. I wanted to have some depth. If you want your black to have depth, just mix dark brown and dark blue, ultramarine, and then you will have this beautiful, beautiful looking black, guys. Just a tip for you. And in the end, when I dry my paint, I realize the difference. Look at this. It was amazing. It was an absolutely gorgeous black. Anyway, guys, now adding all the details in the ear and in the earrings, doing the background, and we are all ready. Don't forget to tape your watercolor paintings before you start, because it prevents your paper from bulking and creating all these kind of little pools of water. And also, it gives a really nice frame. If you're thinking that, okay, I'm still interested in realism though, how can I do realistic portraits in watercolor? Then you should watch this video because I talked about how to create skin tones from just a few colors. Also, speaking of Frida, you know, her life was horribly difficult. She overcame so many challenges and inspired so many artists. Here is the real story of Frida Kahlo. You're not gonna believe it.